game between the Phillies and the New York Yankees. It's a wide-open Bright House field. It will be jam-packed for this afternoon's matchup, but we decided to step down a little early and do a little demonstration about some of the changes in Ryan Howard's stance this spring. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. I'll be joined a little later on by Chris Wheeler, and in just a few moments by Gary Matthews. Well, there's no doubt that Ryan Howard has had one of the best starts to anyone's career. 5 straight years of 30 home runs and 100 RBIs, 253 home runs during the course of his career. He's one of the best power hitters in all of baseball. But as Gary Matthews joins us here, every player to make adjustments during the course of their career, Sarge, and Ryan Howard is making an adjustment this spring.
Yeah, he sure has. What he's done for me, he used to be a little bit further from the plate. Consequently, those balls that are on the outside, he was really reaching for them and then sometimes not even swinging at them. He is a great athlete. That's why he could compensate. Now what he's done is more so easy, force the action. And when he's forcing the action, that means that he's closer to the plate, expecting that ball middle in, and once it gets middle in, he can clear his hips and be able to hit balls out. Now, again, he's so strong that if he's a little late, guess what? That ball's going to go out to left field. That's what he's done. He's made an adjustment. He might have to back off the plate as the season goes on, but for right now, he's scaring a lot of pitchers out there just with the spring that he's having.
And he's able to cover that outside part of the plate and use that strength to go the other way. We asked Ryan earlier this spring about these adjustments and what they might mean.
It's just really trying to find what's comfortable. I mean, I'm not going to be right on top of the plate. I'm not going to be at the outside part of the batter's box. It's trying to find that happy medium to where I feel comfortable on inside and pitches away, just getting good play coverage.
All right, Sarge, how hard is it to make these adjustments at this point in somebody's career?
Well, I mean, it's simple. You have to make adjustments from year to year, depending on how the pitcher is actually pitching you. Pujols is a good hitter. He makes adjustments. That's why he's as good a hitter as he is. Ryan Howard, if he knows the strike zone, Pujols, and I've talked with him about that, Albert Pujols, when you know the strike zone, you're going to be that much better of a hitter. By him coming closer to the plate, for me, he's going to be able to see the ball much, much better.
All right, we'll see. The results so far have been outstanding for Ryan and the Phillies. 15 wins this afternoon. Joe Blanton goes to the mound, and he'll be opposed by left-hander C.C. Sabathia. The big man is heading back to work this afternoon as the Phils entertain the New York Yankees. The starting lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Toyota? Come see for yourself at your local Toyota dealer today. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines do Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. By Xfinity. Xfinity is the official HD provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Xfinity service not available in all areas. And by Independence Blue Cross. No matter where you are in life or business, we have some of the many great sights of spring training. Players and manager Charlie Manuel signing some autographs before the start of today's ball game here at Bright House Field. They've been doing a lot of that because the fans, well, they've been coming out in droves throughout the course of the spring training schedule, not only here at Bright House Field, but also on the road, like yesterday, a record crowd down at Ed Smith Stadium. And that was because the Phillies them with the best of them, signing some autographs before the start of the ball game today on a beautiful afternoon here in Clearwater, Florida. I know it's redundant. I know it sounds like a broken record, but it is a more than capacity crowd. This could be another record-breaking crowd here this afternoon with the Yankees in town to take on the Phillies. And the Yankees have brought pretty much their A lineup today to face the Phillies. The Phillies have a couple of adjustments to their lineup that they will have. And let's take a look at that Yankees lineup this afternoon. They'll use the DH. The Phillies will not. Leading it off in left field, Brett Gardner. Derek Jeter is in the 2-hole. That's where he's going to begin the season. Mark Teixeira, the first baseman, bats third. Alex Rodriguez will be the cleanup hitter, followed by Robinson Cano, who will bat fifth. Nick Swisher hits sixth. In the bottom third of Curtis Granderson, Eric Chavez, and Russell Martin to face 30-year-old right-hander Joe Blanton, who Wheels has quietly had himself a pretty good spring.
Yeah, he's been good, Tom. He's had a little first inning trouble, and, you know, that's something that has hurt him throughout his major league career. The other day over Toronto, he gave up a couple first inning runs and then shut him down the rest of the way.
Well, we're underway. Brett Gardner leads it off, and we heard earlier this week from Joe Girardi that Brett Gardner will most likely be the leadoff hitter for the Yankees, and Derek Jeter will bat second for the upcoming season. And quickly, it's 2 balls and no strikes to Gardner.
Well, he gives him great speed at the top of the order. There's the scouting report on Joe Blanton. Spots his fastball, uses his off-speed stuff to get hitters out, and he does work fast.
Fastball for a strike, and it's 2-1 here in the top of the first.
Gardner's a guy, though, when he gets on base, can wreak a little havoc right out of the chute, because he can steal a bag. He can first to third easily if Jeter shoots the ball to right field. He's a good leadoff guy.
8 for 31 this spring. You saw his numbers. He has scored 6 runs, and he's played just about every day to the outfield for the Yankees.
Well, this is the kind of player you want at the top of your order who can make something happen.
Fastball belt high for a strike, and it's 3-2 to Gardner.
That's why the Phillies say their team is best when Jimmy Rollins leads off.
To second base, Michael Martinez, first opportunity of the afternoon, 1 away.
Like Joe got him out with an off-speed pitch there too, a breaking ball or slider, or a curveball or slider, and he threw it 3-2, and that's the essence of Joe Blanton. That he tries not to get hurt on his fastball that often. He will use his fastball to set up his other stuff.
Well, with 1 out, here's Derek Jeter. Jeter this spring 13 for 36, fresh off a brand new contract with the Yankees and on the cusp of some pretty impressive history. He'll begin 2011 with 2,926 career hits, the all-time leader in hits in Yankee history. That all by itself, Wheels, is pretty amazing.
Well, 3,000 hits, Tom, is some milestone, and you know, whatever era you played in, that's a lot of hits.
And he slices it the opposite way, which is what you were talking about, with Jeter batting second and Gardner leading off. If Gardner were aboard, then he would easily be a third.
Right, and that's what Jeter does. Now that pitch is in on his thumbs, and he fought it off, hit it the other way. See, he and Ryan Howard are getting a laugh out of it. There's the Yankees career leaders in hits, as Tom mentioned, just that number away from that amazing number of 3,000 hits. Look at some of those other guys that are behind him.
Names on that
well,
list.
anytime you know you're the all-time leader in any category for the Yankees offensively, think of the names you passed. They had a few good ones.
They sure did. Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, even Bertie Williams was number 5 on that list. Here's Mark Teixeira, who had 33 home runs a season ago, 108 RBIs. He's hit the ball well in spring for average, hitting .353. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to him.
Wind is blowing out to left and left center here. As Tom mentioned, it's just spectacular. This weather day after day, and it looks like it's going to go right through the end of spring training for these teams down here in Florida. Scoreboard says it's 81.
Deep down the right field line, but foul. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Teixeira. Now you see the game forecast, 82 degrees and sunny, and there's not a cloud in the sky.
Day after day. And they are packed in here today. We'll see if, as you said, Tommy, whether it's another record crowd. Could be.
1-2 the count to Teixeira. And that just missed off the outside corner. It's exactly where Ruiz wanted it.
The Red Sox show up here tomorrow, so 2 pretty big crowds in a row. Keep breaking the record. Might do it today, and then there it goes again tomorrow.
And overall, it's a record-breaking spring.
Whoa.
Towering pop-up. I mean, that is a mile high. That might bring some clouds. Wilson Valdez down the line makes the grab. 2 outs.
See, only power hitters can hit pop-ups like that. Look at Wilson laughing about it. That's one of those ones normally you don't mind getting called off, but that was his all the way. There's nobody going to call him off that baby. But that's a big man with an uppercut swing, and the only kind of guys that can hit that pop-up.
Now with 2 outs, Alex Rodriguez is the hitter. Rodriguez with 4 home runs this spring. And a .412 batting average. With a runner at first, he swings at the first pitch, and he'll be back into the seats.
The way that Chavez is playing for them at third base, you know, they could do this a little bit. They could DH this guy once in a while and play him at third. There's a Chavez, if he stays healthy, is a really good defensive third baseman.
Yeah, Joe Girardi said he's very happy with the bench players that he has potentially to start this season. And a pretty good off-speed pitch from Blanton. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Figure Joe Girardi has Andrew Jones and Eric Chavez potentially as 2 of his bench players for the upcoming year.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, what they're doing today, you could give A-Rod a day off and DH him and let Chavez play third base.
0-2 the count to Rodriguez, and a fastball low, 1-2. Rodriguez with 613 career home runs.
Can he hit 700? Sure. Why not?
3-time MVP. Runner goes. Pitches low. Tough one for Ruiz to handle. He's still got the throw there in time to get Derek Jeter. How about that throw by Carlos Ruiz? And it all began with the pick as Martinez applies the tag. So for the Yankees in the first, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left, and a little bit of defense for the Phillies to start the ball game. He said it's beyond capacity here at Bright House Field, and that includes French's Tiki Bar out in left field. Folks just soaking in the sun. The berm is packed as well as the Phillies and the Yankees getting together for one more spring training game. Got to make sure you have some sunblock on this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup today. Leading it off at center field, Shane Victorino. Michael Martinez will bat second. Jimmy Rollins at shortstop hits third, followed by Ryan Howard, who's in the cleanup spot. Ben Francisco's in left, he'll bat fifth. John Mayberry Jr. will hit sixth. In the bottom third of Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, and Joe Blanton. The Phillies will not use the DH today. CC Sabathia, who's the starting pitcher, would love to hit, but the Yankees have decided to DH for him today. There are the numbers on him. Karsten, Charles, call me CC. Whatever you want to be called, big guy. 6'7", 290. He had a rough outing in one spring training outing this year where he gave up a lot of hits, but the game that he pitched over here, he and Roy Halladay had a game here about 10 days ago, and boy, they were both dealing, and he was really good that day. Here's the scouting report on him. He has turned into a guy that loves to use his changeup, especially against right-handed hitters. 21 wins last year, 19 wins 2 seasons ago for the Yankees, and Victorino hits the 0-1 in the air to shallow center. Curtis Granderson puts it away. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Sabathia is in the 3rd year of a deal with the Yankees, and he has a decision to make at the end of the season. He can opt out of that deal if he chooses to. And he hasn't said whether he will stay or go. He said, let's wait until the end of the season before we decide.
Michael Martinez getting some more playing time. They really are taking a long look at this guy. He had a big game yesterday down in Sarasota.
Switch hitter batting right-handed, and he takes a fastball for a strike. I saw him today, and I said, how about the reaction that the fans made to your 2 defensive plays? Did you hear it? He said, oh, I heard it.
Be hard not to. He was a fan favorite yesterday in Sarasota.
Chopper toward the middle. Derek Jeter over to his left. He has to hurry the throw and does. 2 outs. And that's from the right side of the plate. He was moving pretty good.
Yeah, he's not a burner, but he certainly is a good runner and a guy that you can first to third and score him from second.
Well, here's one of the 2 defensive plays he made yesterday.
Yeah, that's one of the shortstops love to make when they can come on hard like that, get a lot on the throw, and then the first baseman's over there going easy, easy.
Well,
they don't like it as much.
It was a great reaction by the fans, as knowledgeable as ever as he walked off the field after making 2 great plays. Jimmy Rollins hitting 3rd today. Rollins overall hitting .216 in 18 spring games. This is the 24th game counting the split squad games for the Phillies this spring, and Jimmy hasn't had too many days off. Charlie Manuel making sure that Jimmy is in prime shape for the upcoming year.
Well, he wasn't getting a lot of at bats this spring, and he is.
Hits that one through the hole on the left side. A 2-out single for Rollins. And he's aboard here at the bottom of the first. Well, here comes Ryan Howard, who had the day off yesterday. Sarge and I talked about Ryan Howard during the open, about moving closer to the plate, and it has produced a pretty good spring with 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in. And he seems to be more and more comfortable with the approach.
Well, that was what he was emphasizing in the soundbite, and that Gary was talking about, Sarge was talking about. A little bit closer to the plate. It's recognition. It's pitch recognition away more than anything.
Well, and a guy like CC Sabathia would be one of the prime guys he can take advantage of the new approach with, because Sabathia can work it to the outside part of the plate.
Right, and the other thing is he can't worry about getting jammed, because if you start worrying about getting jammed, then you start sneaking away, and then that outside part of the plate becomes unrecognizable, and it doesn't look like a strike.
0-1 the count to Howard. And that ball's over for strike 2. It's 0-2.
When he's closer to the plate, the pitch out of the pitcher's hand, you have a better idea if the thing is going to be a strike or not. When you're too far away, the recognition factor isn't there. And that's one of the reasons why he wants to get a little bit closer, and they want him a little bit closer so they can't bury him away as much.
And Charlie Manuel said the other day that, he can hit the inside pitch. He can hit it with the best of them, and he's right. That one's in the air to left center field. Granderson has plenty of room out there. And on the edge of the track, he puts it away, and the Phils go down here in the first. No runs, a hit, 1 man left. We're through 1 here at Bright House Field. It's the Phillies nothing, the Yankees nothing. Top of the second, Alex Rodriguez was at the plate at the end of the top of the first when Derek Jeter was thrown out trying to steal. So he gets a fresh count. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Rodriguez. See Rodriguez's numbers from a season ago: 30 home runs, 125 RBIs. And that one's over at the belt, and it's 2-1. Good pitch.
Behind in the count, breaking ball, and that's Joe Blanton's forte, is to be able to throw those pitches at any time. Active career leaders and homers, A-Rod, Jim Thome right behind it.
And Rodriguez out in front gets a piece of that, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. How about that? You know, you think about the milestones in baseball for the upcoming year. Jeter has an opportunity to get 3,000 hits, and Thome has an opportunity to hit his 600th home run.
Magic numbers in baseball.
Off the hands to right center field. Boy, he is strong. And Mayberry does a belly flop. Victorino was backing up well, but his throw is offline. And Rodriguez is aboard with the leadoff double.
As you said, he's strong. Then the wind knocked it down out there in right center. He just fought it off. And there, we mentioned the wind blowing out towards left and left center. So out in that right field area can knock it down, and it did, because he really didn't drive this. Pitch was supposed to be away. It came running back in on A-Rod. He fought it off, and Mayberry thought he was closer to it than he probably was. John tried, and as you said, Shane backed it up. But that's one of those ones where we'll go, man, I had no chance to catch it.
Robinson Cano fouls the first pitch off.
Boy, that went off his foot and went a long way. That one must have hurt a little bit.
Cano with 14 hits this spring. He just hit his first home run. He's played in 13 games.
Hit it yesterday.
Yep. Coming off a solid season for the Yankees at second base. In fact, there were a lot of folks that thought he was the best hitter in the Yankee lineup last year.
Guy's a big time offensive player, and he's really improved defensively. He can pull the ball too. He's a perfect guy to have up right now to get A-Rod to third.
There's Chase Utley, his counterpart on the other side, and Chase was taking some ground balls today on that little stool that people have talked about. To the right side, Martinez. A few steps onto the outfield grass, throws out Cano. Over to third goes Rodriguez. Well, Chase earlier this week, as we mentioned yesterday, went to a rehab specialist to do some different exercises to try to alleviate the swelling in his sore knee. He's got patellar tendonitis, and you know, he has spent his time still taking batting practice, still taking ground balls on the half field to the left of Bright House Field with Sam Perlazzo hitting him those ground balls. He's literally sitting in a chair while he's taking those ground balls. And he's really no better than he was a couple of weeks ago. He's no worse, which is good.
Doing everything they can to try and get him back without any kind of surgery. And that's really just all you can say about it.
With one out, Nick Swisher's the hitter, and the count 2 balls and no strikes to Swisher. Phillies have a couple of guys that are banged up, as everybody knows. Dominic Brown was able to get most of the stitches out. He still has a couple left in that broken hand. Got most of the stitches out yesterday as Ruiz throws behind Alex Rodriguez.
He's down there hanging out outside the dugout right now with Rich Doobie and Pete McCannon on one of the chairs, just watching the game. Foul ball comes over. I hope he uses the other hand.
I was thinking the same thing.
There he is.
Breaking ball low, and it's 3-1.
There he is, sitting there.
Dominic said there's still, I think, 2 or 3 stitches left in that hand, and they'll come out in the next day or so. In the air to right field. Let's see if this one stays in the yard. It should. Mayberry's under it. Tagging from third, Rodriguez. He'll score easily without a throw. And the Yankees will lead at 1-0.
That's probably a homer at the ballpark in the Bronx.
That might be deep into the bleachers in the ballpark of the Bronx.
Yeah. It's short out there in right center. But the wind knocked that ball down. Swisher crushed that thing. That's a homer many days when the wind's not blowing the way that it is.
Now the base is empty. 2 outs. Curtis Granderson is a hitter. He's having a great spring. I think Granderson fouls the first pitch in and out of the glove of Ruiz. It's 0-1.
Girardi has to be happy with that run the Yankees just got. Double, get him over, get him in. And, you know, that's textbook baseball. American League, you know, you don't think about it as much as you do in the National League, but you still win a lot of games that way.
Well, and it's the same theory that I think the Phillies have with their staff and their rotation. Get a run early with a guy like Sabathia on the mound, and Charlie knows full well about Sabathia's ability. He might let that stand up for the entire game.
And when you get into games with good pitchers, that one run you score early, as you say, it may stand up, or it may be a run that can win you a game later on that you know, you're in a tight game late and you get one more, and you had that one early.
On the inside corner, pretty pitch from Blanton, and Granderson goes down looking. First strikeout of the day for Joe Blanton. Yankees score a run on one hit. We go to the bottom of the second. The 2011 season has the New York Mets coming to town for a three-game set that winds down on Thursday, April 7th at 3:05. It's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Limited tickets remain for all three of the games against the New York Mets. You can go to Phillies.com to make your purchase at any time. Astros the first three games, an off day, and then the Mets. And time is winding down here in spring training. We go to the bottom of the second. Ben Francisco leads it off against his former teammate, CC Sabathia.
Phillies go home a week from tomorrow and play the exhibition games on Tuesday and Wednesday at Citizens Bank Park, and then open on Friday.
1 ball and 1 strike to Francisco. Francisco's had a solid spring. You see the numbers, 326 with 3 home runs. They have gotten very good production out of Francisco and John Mayberry Jr. this spring. Here's the 1-1. Another changeup.
Well, Francisco looked there for a while that, you know, he had really won that right field job. He may have, but John Mayberry's pushing him a little bit right now. That's good.
Doesn't matter what manager you talk to. It could be Charlie Manuel. It could be Joe Girardi. You know, they like the competition.
Heck yeah. You don't have as much of it nowadays as you used to because of all the guaranteed contracts.
Francisco lays off, and it's 3-2.
That's what Sabathia can do to you, though. He can throw that biter right there, that slider, and to a right-handed hitter, get that in their head, and then throw the changeup away or fastball away and get you out that part of the plate. They're setting up away now.
And he tried to sneak that fastball by Francisco, and he takes it for ball 4. So a leadoff walk. John Mayberry had a big day yesterday. I mean, he hit a long home run early on.
Yeah, that made a loud bang. That sound deep to left center field. That's a big ballpark too down there in Sarasota, and you know, he got a little help from the wind, but he didn't need that much.
Trying to decide as a fan,
yeah,
which home run was longer, Mayberry's or Eric Kratz?
Well, Kratz's went down the line, so
it was
long.
But
I thought that was the longest one.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
At first, after seeing them, I thought it was Kratz. Then last night, when I watched them again, I thought it was Mayberry's.
Yeah. Well, Kratz has cleared everything. But Mayberry's went to deep left center. But they were both legitimate homers yesterday. They were not spring training pop-ups.
Victorino's was pretty legitimate,
Hit that well. Down and in.
Well, here is Mayberry, .353 hitter this spring. Chops it toward third. Big hop for Chavez. He's a former Gold Glover. And they go around the horn, a 5-4-3 double play.
That's a pretty double play right there. Big league players make a double play look nice like that.
Well, here's Eric Kratz's home run, Wheels.
Gonzalez threw him a fastball, and that one's down the line.
That's far.
See, that went over everything. See it bounce?
That is a big man right there.
That was headed for our cars yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Luckily, when we got to the cars, they were just fine.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos did not play yesterday. Kratz started, then Tuppy Goswitch came in. Carlos has not had a very good spring offensively. Tell you what, he had a pretty good BP session today. I know that doesn't always say a lot, but he was driving the ball well today.
Yeah, you never know when that can help a guy. Guy out there now isn't throwing BP. He's pretty good.
No, I believe the BP pitcher when Carlos was up was Pete McCannon. And CC can throw a little bit better than Pete.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Yeah, Pete McCannon is known more for his handwriting.
Does a nice lineup card.
Than his pitching at this point.
Very nice lineup card. Very neat. It's almost parochial schoolish.
Low 3-1.
What's that type of printing he can do sometimes? You see at golf tournaments. Calligraphy. He'll do that every once in a while. Just roll it out there. Maybe you lost a couple in a row.
And fast too.
Yeah.
It's not slow. Hit sharply towards second, but right at Cano. And the Phillies are retired here in the second. No runs, no hits, nobody left. It's a capacity crowd here at Bright House Field, and well, maybe a couple of extras around the house. A little osprey, a little fish. We'll be back. Wheels, that is not your brother's osprey right there. That is a huge bird.
That's a big osprey. Boy, they are beautiful, beautiful bird.
Beautiful but menacing at the same moment. Oh, we head to the top of the third.
He just brought dinner home.
Here's Eric Chavez, and Chavez takes a pitch low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Chavez having himself a pretty good spring in a Yankee uniform. He has 12 hits and 32 at bats. And he hit that one off the end of the bat over toward the Phillies dugout. That's going to be a tough play. Ruiz calls off Valdez. Hey, tonight get exclusive video of Chase Utley mic'd up in the batting cage. Plus, Ricky Vitellico discusses what the long-term effects of tendinitis may be. Don't miss Phillies Focus, presented by Schuylkill Valley Sports, tonight at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Here's Russell Martin. He can appreciate that play that Carlos Ruiz just made.
That is such an easier play for the third baseman. That is a really tough play for the catcher. And Carlos hung in there. That thing was really high.
Martin hasn't hit a whole lot this spring for the Yankees, but he's going to be their first string catcher.
Catchers nowadays, when they pop the mask off, they have sunglasses. Never used to wear sunglasses. You know, they really needed the glove to shade their eyes. See, Carlos is wearing sunglasses, so I'm not saying that was an easy play. It wasn't, but it was easier because he wasn't looking into the sun without the glasses.
Toward the hole, that'll sneak in to left, the base hit. Well, a lot of catchers even today have those hockey style masks, and they don't even come off. Guys just go after pop-ups with that mask on, and that's part of the reason. You know, Carlos has the traditional look with the helmet and the mask that wraps around.
Well, the catchers at one time, they used to catch and they had a mask and a soft cap and no sunglasses. Now that's tough.
Did they walk to school in the bare feet in the snow? Gardner through the hole on the right side. Back-to-back singles for the Yankees. Martin doesn't run as well as he used to. He'll stop at second.
That would be a great question of when they did start wearing the helmets to protect them. You know, what year that came along? Because I mean, I remember a long time as a kid watching baseball. Catchers wore a soft cap.
And umpires, for the most part, have still wear the soft caps. Some wear the hockey style helmets, but they don't. You know, they haven't picked up on, you know, wearing the helmet over the mask behind the plate.
Yeah, guys used to run the bases without helmets, and they were actually hitters.
That could be two. Martinez flips to J-Roll. There's one, and there's two. 4-6-3, as easy as they come. And after getting back-to-back singles, the Yankees are retired here in the third. It ends with a 4-6-3 double play. A new second baseman getting used to the old shortstop. Acura, advance, and buy Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Oh, some Osprey go out and find fish for dinner. The other ones stand guard, and that one seems to be standing guard as CC Sabathia gets set to begin the home third. And he'll face Wilson Valdez. Joe Blanton, and then the top of the order for the Phillies. Well, Wheels, this looks like it's going to be the spot where Wilson Valdez is going to bat to start the 2011 season.
And that kicks Carlos Ruiz up to the 7 hole. Valdez would appear to be the second baseman.
And the first pitch is taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Well, we talked about Chase Utley's injury before, and Brad Lidge is coming back from a little soreness in his bicep. And Brad threw earlier today, and he's been kind enough to join us down the left field line. Brad, we appreciate you coming on today. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good.
Session went well today?
Session went great today. We kicked it up a notch in intensity, and ready to get back in games now. I guess I'll be probably throwing on Tuesday. Don't know if I'll be throwing in a minor league game or big league game, but get me back in there and face some hitters and get after it and get ready for April 1st.
Hey, Brad, you didn't seem that concerned about this. Are you at the point now, and you really know your body that well, that you can tell when something should really concern you?
Well, I think so with this particular injury, at least. I mean, they went back and looked at my chart. I've had bicep tendonitis every year in spring training since 2006. So this was definitely not a abnormal thing for me. And you know, because of that, because I know how to have us take care of it, we know how to treat it. His legs went out there.
Yeah, Valdez just legged one out. Chavez's throw was a little low.
Good to see. But yeah, so we knew how to take care of it. We knew how to treat it, and so I wasn't concerned. Obviously, you never want to have an injury in spring training or any time of year, but it was one of those ones where, you know, like I said, we've had it before, so we had experience with it.
Now, you talked earlier today, Brad, about, you know, changing your mechanics a little bit. That may have caused it this time, that you've kind of adjusted that a little too?
Yeah, and it's not even so much changing them is just something that, you know, sometimes some of us go through it in spring training, get down here, and your mechanics are just a little off. And, you know, the first couple games out, if they're a little off, you might put strain on, for me, on my bicep tendon or something else. And, you know, like I said, I've done that before a lot. It's just a matter of getting good mechanics and getting kind of dialed back in to what you normally do. And we worked on that real hard over the last week or so to get my mechanics just kind of smooth them out, just really focus on that. And now it's feeling a lot better.
At this point in your career, as far as velocity goes, do you look more at the number on the velocity or location, or is there a combination of things involved in this?
There's a combination of things. You know, obviously it's nice to throw harder, and like I said, I think for me the biggest thing is I've never been a guy that can really dial it up in spring training for whatever reason. I don't anticipate ever really being able to do that, but especially at this point in my career. But you know, that being said, velocity is nice to have. For me, the biggest thing on my fastball, if I have a good downward angle on with the path of the ball toward home plate, as the ball gets to home plate, then that sells my slider. So for me, it's more about the angle than it is even necessarily about location or velocity.
Joe Blanton's retired on the sacrifice bunt. Up to second goes Valdez. Now, speaking of the slider, Brad, how comfortable were you with that? It seemed like you were very comfortable prior to this little setback.
Yeah, definitely. It was feeling really good coming out of my hand. You know, and obviously that's my bread and butter pitch, my go-to pitch. So that was another reason I wasn't quite as concerned. I know that, you know, getting my fastball and getting my mechanics is something I had to do, but I knew that I'd be able to do that. And a lot of times you're just trying to work in spring training and getting the feel for your off-speed pitches. Fortunately for me, I came in this year with a good feel for the slider. So, you know, now we're able to get the mechanics and the slider there. So that's why I'm feeling very optimistic about April 1st.
Hey, you had a little setback, but I talked to you early in spring training. You seemed really excited about the fact that you were able to have, quote unquote, a normal type of spring training as opposed to what you've had lately.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, one thing we were able to do is get a few outings in before I had that bicep tendonitis take me out. So I've been able to have a normal spring training. I haven't had to rehab anything over the winter. My knees feel great. The rest of my body feels great. So it's been exciting to just have that normal spring training and get ready for the opening day as opposed to getting ready for, you know, May or the end of April or whatever it's been in the past.
Nick, when you all of a sudden the season starts and, you know, they like to talk about you're pitching with an upper deck, which changes everything. Can that help velocity sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what happens is generally when the season starts, when you get in that first save situation, there's really no way to duplicate or try and get that same kind of adrenaline when you're pitching in spring training games. And, you know, the situations can be anything. The only thing that can really get that velocity out of your arm, or at least maximize the velocity that you're going to use, is when you're in that situation, when you're you know, when you're closing out a game trying to get a save. That's where my velocity comes. That's normally a few extra clicks, and you know, so that's one of the reasons I've probably never been able to get there during spring training, but I've also never been worried about not being able to get there in spring training.
Brad, we appreciate it. Best of luck and good health, and we'll see you on the field sometime in the next couple of days.
All right, Wheels, T-Mac, good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Brad. Brad Lidge, who again made a very big step forward earlier today on a mound on one of the backfields here at the Bright House complex. And felt very good, felt very comfortable, and as he said, he'll throw again in the next couple of days, and that's a good sign that he'll be ready for opening day.
Well, there's nothing like a closer gets more than a rush.
Yeah.
When that upper deck all of a sudden appears, and you're in a real game too. That is so different.
Michael Martinez, the hitter, with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the third. Yankees up 1-0 thanks to a sacrifice fly. There's Valdez, who led off the inning with an infield single and was sacrificed up to second by Joe Blanton. And after the Victorino strikeout, Martinez is even 1 ball and 1 strike.
That was a really good pitch he just struck Victorino out on. Saw Shane just froze. It looked like a little cutter. Came back, caught the outside corner. And, you know, Shane had given up on. Let's see if that's what it was. Shane had given up on it because it looked like it was away. Yep, there it comes. Zip. Right on the outside part of the plate. And, you know, to his eyes, that's a ball. And then by the time it's a strike, it's way too late. That's what great pitchers can do to a hitter. And Victorino's a good hitter.
1-2 the count to Martinez. And a swing and a miss, and he's down on strikes. So the Phillies leave one in scoring position here in the third. 2 strikeouts for CC Sabathia. Phillies trail at 1-0. The fans, well, they're just enjoying the sun and the atmosphere here in Clearwater. Clubhouse in between innings. That's usually the case here in spring training. After the third, they go back to the clubhouse and get ready to do some extra work before they head on home as Joe Blanton goes to work against Mark Teixeira. And Teixeira hits one to deep right field, and John Mayberry just watches it go. Gary Matthews joins us here in the booth. And Sarge, I wasn't sure if that ball was hit or that ball was a little too far to the end of the bat.
Yeah, Mark, a very strong hitter, switch hitter. Doesn't have to always get it all for it to get out of the plate. He's guessing fastball at first pitch. Didn't miss it. See the location of this, and you're right. Just off the end. See how he hesitated a little bit at the back end of that swing there as he drives it out.
Here's Rodriguez who takes a pitch high. Well, it was a couple of years ago that we did see Mark Teixeira hit a home run at Yankee Stadium with a broken bat. So he does have that kind of power.
Well, he does.
Rodriguez doubled his first time up. And he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, doesn't necessarily like that ball on the inside part of the plate. He likes the ball out over the plate in a way.
I think Joe Blanton wanted that pitch from the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher.
Yeah, well, he's been calling high strikes. Been calling high strikes since the beginning.
There's Andy Fletcher. He's joined today by Tom Hallion, Phil Cuzzy, and Manny Gonzalez. Rodriguez smokes that one deep to left field, and it is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Yankees. And they now lead it 3-0.
Well, that's what happens when you don't get the ball all the way in. You know, these power hitters, you get them in that zone, and these guys are all starting to heat up. This time in spring training, hitters are starting to hone in on their stroke. Take a look at this. See, that just didn't get in.
Robinson Cano swings at the first pitch, and he'll foul it down the left field line out of play. Well, it's the second time through the lineup, and it is just spring training, but it looks like the Yankees have a different approach against Blanton.
A little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, swinging at first pitch. And they'll do that. You know, first time up, they'll take pitches. Second time up, he's still throwing in that same spot fastballs they're going to look for.
Am I naive to think, though, that, I don't know, I guess I just didn't expect in spring training that they would talk in between innings and kind of change their approach, but I guess they do have to get kind of used to the start of the season.
Well, you do. You know, and you change it on your pitcher depending on what he's throwing.
Well, he fooled him on that one. A big hop for Howard, and Blanton's there to cover. 3-1 on the putout. And one gone here in the fourth. Well, the Phillies will take on the revamped Milwaukee Brewers beginning Monday, April 18th. That's the first Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at the ballpark. And the series culminates with the second Citizens Bank Business Person Special of the year. Limited seats available for that series by going to Phillies.com. The Brewers, who acquired Sean Markham and Zach Greinke in the offseason, both of those guys are kind of banged up, but they are going to be a much different team than they were a year ago. They've got better pitching. The National League Central last year, the Brewers finished in third. I think the Reds go in as the favorite again, don't you, Sarge?
Have to, especially with the team they have, way they played last year. You know, they'll get a fight from the Cubs, and the division's always usually a little bit closer because the teams aren't as good for me as they are in the other divisions.
Well, the Phillies knocked off the Reds in the postseason. And the Reds have probably the best young pitching in that division going into this upcoming year. 2-1 the count to Nick Swisher. And Swisher grounds it toward first over the bag, and Howard will take it himself because Swisher froze at the plate. 3 unassisted, 2 outs. Well, after allowing the 2 home runs to start the inning, Blanton has kind of fooled the last 2 hitters on the balls that they eventually hit fair.
Yeah, when you get the hitters off balance, that's when you can do the most damage as a pitcher.
Granderson takes a pitch low, and it's 1-0. Granderson went down looking his first time up.
Joe has to pitch in and out, up and down.
And a base hit for Granderson. And that's his 14th hit of the spring, 3rd hit allowed in this inning by Blanton.
Blanton's been working on that curveball. That was a curveball there, but I think you want that curveball to be a little sharper on the break if you can.
That one's deep down the right field line. If it's fair, it is long gone. I don't know how you tell if you're an umpire. That's a foul ball. Boy, that's a tough one. That pole is not as high as it is at Citizens Bank Park. And Phil Cuzzy, he's got a smile on his face. I think he felt like that one was a little easier once it went past the pole than it was when it left the bat of Chavez.
Well, he thought it was a home run.
Chavez.
Yeah, he kind of went into his Academy Award like, hey, that's fair.
There goes Granderson. That ball is shot the opposite way. What a play by Valdez on the backhand. And the side is retired. Total reaction play by Wilson Valdez. Fast hands to snag that one and probably save a run. The Yankees do score 2 on back-to-back homers. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity is the official HD provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Xfinity service not available in all areas. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Last of the 4th. A large crowd on hand here at Bright House Field. There's not too many specks of grass available out on the berm. One of the great sights here in spring training at Bright House Field. The grass berm that goes from the Phillies and Yankees bullpen all the way around to the right field side of the stadium. It's all part of the standing room only ticket that you can purchase when you come down to spring training. Jimmy Rollins is going to beat that one out. Jeter's not even going to bother. And Rollins is 2 for 2. There's that grass berm we talked about. You look around some of the minor league facilities, Sarge, around the country, and a lot of them are adding that particular style to their ballpark. And, you know, there's some nights that minor league places and even Bright House Field during the Florida State League season, they won't sell the place out. But there are nights where they'll be above capacity and you can just jam folks in out there.
Yeah, great for the kids. They can run around, roll around on the grass.
Ryan Howard takes a pitch inside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Howard flied out to left center his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Sarge, I mentioned before that Sabathia is a good pitcher to see Howard's technique in action against, because he's a left-hander and he can work the outside part of the plate to a lefty. Is that true?
That's true, because he has a good breaking ball. He pitches inside, he pitches outside. You know, he's just not a hard thrower. This guy thinks when he's out there pitching.
There's a changeup.
Changeup on the inside part of the plate. But even so, by him moving closer, not going to have that many holes. I mean, before, when you're way away, you got the hole inside and away. Well, for me, he's eliminated one of them, which would be the inside part of the plate.
Now, that was a pretty good pitch right there.
Good pitch to hit.
Yep. And particularly with what we've talked about with his stance, that, you know, moving closer to the plate and having the confidence to open up and drive it.
Yeah, well, again, he's such a strong hitter that if he catches the ball late, he can hit that ball out of the ballpark. Oh, and I think it'll make it easier for him to hit for a higher average by moving up a little closer to the plate.
1-2 the count to Ryan. Lifts that one to right center field. He didn't get all of it, and Granderson settles under it. And he puts it away. So Howard's retired. All right, Sarge, walk me through this pitch.
Now that ball there inside didn't get his hands through. You can see right there where he didn't really clear his hip. So it tells me that ball might have been maybe inside a little bit, not maybe a strike. You know, when you have 2 strikes on you, though, you got to protect that.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, he has to protect because of the situation in that
situation there, and he's been calling some high strikes. But if he gets his hands through, you know, if that's maybe the very first pitch, he'll get on top of that pitch.
I thought it was interesting when you were talking about Ryan earlier, and you've talked about this during spring training. You talked about having the confidence on that inside pitch. See, I always thought he had the confidence on that inside pitch.
Well, I mean, hitters will tell you whether or not they do because of the zone that they're swinging in. If they continue to swing at a lot of pitches that are inside and not strikes, they're not going to be very effective. You should be able to take that ball inside, especially if you're right there. Now you get that ball where it moves a little bit further, like Big Joe Blanton did to Rodriguez. He was able to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
All right, so it's not even the confidence to turn on it, but the confidence to take it for a ball.
To take it for a ball. Exactly.
0-1 the count to Francisco, and a changeup low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, most of the pitchers these days, I mean, their bread and butter is that outside part of the plate, that fastball. And that's what makes the Fighting Phillies pitchers so effective. They're able to pitch inside, Cliff Lee, along with Roy Oswalt and Holiday, and get strikes inside.
Russell Martin goes out to the mound to talk to Sabathia. 3-0 Yankees here in the bottom of the 4th. A couple of home runs in the top of the 4th inning for the Yankees have given them this lead. You know, you can follow the Phillies with MLB.com @bat11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @bat to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. Phillies have been on radio, television, or the internet all spring, but if you're not always around your computer, that's a great spot to catch up on what's happening during these spring training games. Spring training that's produced 15 wins already for the Phillies.
Now, that's a good record to have in spring training.
2-2 the count to Francisco. And it's high, 3-2.
See how he is throwing the ball high. Francisco, he swung at a high fastball, but not only that, Fletcher's been calling that high fastball. So that's when the player does have to make the adjustment and maybe swing at the one that's borderline.
Rollins takes his lead off first, being held on by Teixeira. Let's see if he goes. He does. And a little dribbler up the first base line. And Francisco and Teixeira kind of collide. I'm not sure if Teixeira was too happy about that.
Well, everybody's used to when that play happens that you stop and kind of just let them tag you. And if you go through them, and it looked like Francisco was tripping more so than anything else. You can see how he gets in, and he really should have that with 2 hands. You can see Teixeira going like, what are you doing in spring training?
It looked like Francisco was trying to let up, and as you said, he tripped, and that caused his body to, his momentum to carry a little quicker.
Yeah, well, usually want to go into him in hard anyway.
I was going to say, there's really no reason to apologize for something like that.
Yeah, he didn't know. I was looking for that to see whether or not he was going to say, hey, I'm sorry, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. You okay?
That didn't happen?
Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, you play 162 games. Can't have any friends during the course of the game.
So it's awful when it happens, but you didn't think it was awful that Ben just went right back to the dugout.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
you don't even say anything. Huh? There's Francisco.
1-1 the count to Mayberry. In the air to left field. Gardner looking up into the sky. Not a cloud in the sky. Finds the ball on the side, is retired. Phillies Get a leadoff hit by Jimmy Rollins. He's left at second. We've completed 4. Yankees 3, Phillies nothing. Seven Phils fans get the best spring training coverage with Phillies insider Jim Salisbury on CSNPhilly.com. Get the latest team updates with reports direct from Clearwater. Experience counts. Phillies insider Jim Salisbury only on CSNPhilly.com. Jimmy's been here all spring long, along with the rest of the Phillies beat writers. Not a lot of days off for those guys anymore. Russell Martin bunts the first pitch. Blanton off the mound easily. 1 away.
Wow.
Blanton entered this inning, Sarge, with 60 pitches and needs just 1 to retire Russell Martin. And he's expected to go pretty deep into this ball game at this juncture of spring training.
Yeah, I was wondering where Russell was actually trying to bunt the ball, whether or not he was trying to push it towards second base or drag. He ended up pushing it right back to Joe Blanton. That as a hitter, when you do that, it's just a wasted at bat.
Well, a guy like this can do it because he's got better speed than Martin.
And not only that, once he gets on, he's got a good chance to steal second base. Martin, no, not a bad catcher in terms of running, but he's slowed down some, obviously, as the years has gone, not running as much anymore.
0-2 the count to Gardner. And a high fastball, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hitting in that nice spot, you want to try and get on and maybe hit a double. Maybe there's a reason, though. He's hitting in a nice spot.
And a called strike 3. I think he fooled Gardner on that pitch, but it was a pretty pitch from Blanton. Second strikeout for Joe.
Well, he's pitching pretty good there. His ball's got to probably have movement. Look at that ball as it goes right back on the inside part of the plate. It's a good pitch there that he needs when you're facing that left-handed hitter.
Jeter's 1 for 2. He bounced into a double play his last time up. Jeter takes a pitch. He is a notorious first pitch swinging hitter.
Yeah, he likes the inside out the ball. He can hit the ball, however, out of the ballpark.
And he rolls over on one toward the hole. Rollins makes a strong throw, and the side is retired. The Phillies have played very good defense this afternoon here at Bright House Field. That is their 3rd big-time play, and it's Jimmy Rollins who throws out Derek Jeter. Home to Citizens Bank Park. They'll take on the Pirates in the on-deck series. 2 games. The 29th of March is game 1. That's at 7:05. And then Wednesday the 30th at 4:05 is game 2. Tickets are moving quickly. They're discounted tickets as well. Go to Phillies.com. They'll run down all of the things that are going on for that 2-game on-deck series against the Pirates. And some of the new Pirates that you might see that day, they include Lyle Overbay over at first. He's going to be their everyday first baseman. Kevin Correa, they think, will help stabilize that rotation. And Scott Olson trying to come back from arm problems with the Washington Nationals. The other guy you might see for that on-deck series is Rich Dubey's son, Michael, who Dube said was throwing very well, was down in the minor league camp, has been brought back a couple of different times by the Pirates to pitch in some of the big league games. Here's Carlos Ruiz, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ruiz as we start the bottom of the 5th with the Yankees up 3-0.
Yeah, that's always a nervous time for a player. You know, and he's just right on the edge there. Could go either way.
And Carlos hits it in the air to left. Playable for Gardner. 1 out. Well, Sarge, you talk about he's right on the edge, and it could go either way. But even if he doesn't make the team out of spring training, you would figure that Rich Dubey will see his son Michael pitch at some point this year.
Yeah, that's when you really got to go to AAA. If you go down, you get off to that good start. And you know there are going to be some guys that don't pitch very well. You'll get your start, but you just have to be ready when that happens.
Talk about a guy that was ready last year. Wilson Valdez was that guy for the Phillies.
Oh, he got big hits. I think the guys, though, this time around, they should be getting a little bit more aggressive on that first pitch fastball. They've been getting that quite a bit from CC. I noticed early on he went more soft. He was throwing backdoor sliders. Now here it is, 3rd time around. Here you're sitting on more soft pitches, breaking balls, change-ups. Then he's pumping that fastball. It's the one pitch you don't want him to get by you.
Sabathia has won 157 games during his career. He was a teammate of Cliff Lee's in Cleveland. And you see what he's done since 2007. Sabathia and Halladay, the 2 leaders in Major League Baseball in victories.
You got to be able to pitch a lot of innings, stay in ball games. And not only that, you just got to be good. And both those guys are.
One and 2 the count to Valdez. He just reached out and tried to stay alive, and he floats it to Swisher in right. 2 away here in the 5th. Well, Sarge, what do you think about this Yankees team? I mean, you know, people have talked about the changes the Red Sox have made in the American League East. We see the Yankees a lot during spring training, and I've come to realize that with the additions of Eric Chavez as a bench player and Andrew Jones as a bench player and Rafael Soriano in the pen, I think they're going to probably give the Red Sox a pretty good run in the American League East.
Yeah, they're old, though. You know, they're old, getting old, like right in front of your eyes. And over the course of the season, older guys are going to slow down a little bit. That's why they need guys, and they brought in veteran guys to be able to get some more at bats. Chavez along with Jones.
I think the biggest question for the Yankees really is their rotation. You know, Sabathia and Burnett will be 1 and 2. And then Hughes will be 3, and then they're undecided on 4 and 5. But they certainly have the offense. I mean, you're looking at camera shots of guys. I mean, just about everybody we've just shown you, they're all-stars. And have been during their career.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with that. But the Yankees over the years always go out and get players that can play or that have had really good years.
It seems like Nova and Colon are right now are the odds-on favorites to be 4 and 5. Now Freddie Garcia is on that list, and Garcia got roughed up in his last outing. There's some people that think that he'll be the 5th starter. Nidre has been nicked up, and Joe Girardi likes him as a long man. Had him in Florida, had him last year with the Yankees. So he'll probably make the team, but it'll probably be as a long man. As Blanton goes down swinging, the Phillies are retired in order for the first time this afternoon. We've played 5. CC Sabathia has been in total control as we go to the 6th. This is the region's largest hunger relief organization. It serves 65,000 people per week in 9 different counties. In 2010, Philabundance distributed 21 million pounds of food to people in need. To learn more, visit philabundance.org. They do some great work each and every year around Christmas time. We're over there with the folks from Toyota. Toyota in the Delaware Valley. They have their bins at their different dealerships, and they take in all kinds of dry goods, and that's distributed to the folks at Philabundance. And where they're loading the trucks onto the pallets and putting it into the warehouse in South Philadelphia. It's a great place. Well, Joe Blanton's about ready to begin the 6th inning, but the Yankees up 3-0. They'll face the middle of the order. He's allowed 3 runs, Sarge, but I think he's been pretty effective today.
No, he has been. Anytime pitcher goes out, they give the solo home runs. Not all that bad.
Well, he gave up a solo home run to Teixeira at his last at-bat. Teixeira just missed another one.
Got a little bit quick.
And 1 out for Alex Rodriguez. I think you're right. I think their game plan is he's going to throw me a get-me-over fastball, and I'm going to be ready for it.
Well, that's what they've been doing. And that ball, though, he took a little bit off, it seemed like.
There's a fastball in a good spot. Rodriguez homered his last time up, doubled his first time to the plate. 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored.
That was a good pitch there. This was not. Just didn't get it in really inside enough on him.
Rodriguez was running as if he thought that was going to stay in the yard.
He's a very smart hitter because on that same pitch, he almost kind of opened up a little bit. Now he'll go out this at bat and think, well, maybe he's going to try and get me out away.
Well, he did try to go away, and he hits it softly to Valdez. And he can flick it with the best of them. Valdez throws him out, 2 away here in the 6th.
Now notice how those 2 hitters, though, a little bit off balance, especially right there with Rodriguez.
There's Bastardo. He's scheduled to pitch today. Bastardo, Contreras, Zagorski, and Matheson are on the docket. Bastardo and Contreras are certainly scheduled to pitch, and the other 2 guys may be used at some point. And with 2 outs, here's Robinson Cano. Blanton's gotten Cano on ground balls both times. Tried to hold his swing. Tom Hallion says he did. There's Hallion. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. And Blanton delivers. Outside, 2-0. That one's hit hard, backhanded by Martinez. I don't know, Sarge. He looks like he's playing more and more relaxed no matter where the Phillies put him. Short, second, third. Very comfortable. Michael Martinez as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And by Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. Bottom of the 6th already here at Bright House Field. On a gorgeous day. Phillies and the Yankees. Yankees in town today. Tomorrow the Red Sox. The Phillies are going right on through the American League East. They played the Orioles yesterday. They play the Blue Jays on Tuesday. And Joe Blanton, through 6 innings, has allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. He's thrown 75 pitches. He might start the 7th. The Stardo's been loosening up in the pen, but we'll see. Greg Luzinski enjoying the day. Bull was trying to decide today whether he was going to play golf or come to the game, and I guess he decided to come to the game.
Well, he probably did both if he played earlier today.
He could have. Victorino takes a pitch outside.
I always see Bull though around the ballpark. Citizens Bank, he's there signing autograph,
making some turkey and pulled pork sandwiches. Bull's Barbecue out in right field at Citizens Bank Park.
Big turkey drumsticks.
Yeah,
those are good.
Victorino's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Boy, he is throwing a nasty changeup today.
Yeah, he's got it in a good spot. Starting it in a good spot with movement. Since he usually has a little problem there with Victorino and hitting the ball hard.
He's only thrown 18 balls out of the strike zone. Well, now 19.
He always seems to be around the plate. Has that good changeup, decent fastball, and he can throw that back foot slider to the right-handers.
Broke Victorino's bat. That's a foul ball. The Yankees are going to practice their around the horn play, even though that was a foul ball. PA announcer was kind of fooled too. He just announced Michael Martinez coming to the plate.
I'll be all over Don on that one.
Well, Wheels is sitting next to him in the PA booth, so he probably told him that Martinez was due up.
I mean, if you're looking at the game and looking at the umpire, they'll tell you whether or not the ball is fair or not, usually. Hold the hands up. That means it's foul there, Tom.
Well,
okay, point toward the field. That means it's fair.
I think Don Gukian, who does the PA here at the ballpark when Wheels has a game on television or radio, I think he was following the Yankees around because they were throwing the ball around, and he just assumed that the play was complete.
Yeah. It's the bad thing about this game. You just can't assume. How many times have we looked on the scoreboard and, when we were thinking it's 3-2, it's 2-2.
It is now 3-2 to Victorino. Swing and a miss. He got it. Fourth strikeout for Sabathia.
That's a pretty good pitch there, 3-2. Thinking maybe fastball on the inside part of the plate. Look at the movement on there. There's that slider I'm talking about as he takes a little bit off of it. Look at his delivery there, high leg kick. Guy has a lot of confidence, and well, he should.
Now with one away, here's Martinez, who shows bunt and takes a pitch low. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Martinez, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded to short. He is struck out.
Don't know how hard he's throwing, but it's got to be in the 90s, 92, 93 or so. That changeup.
High chopper. Chavez behind the bag. And Martinez nearly beat it out. 2 outs. I thought it was interesting last week. Chavez was talking, Sarge, about his role with the Yankees, and this is a guy who, has over 200 home runs in the majors, a multi-Gold Glove winner at third with the Oakland A's, and he said he's at the point in his career where he thinks this role with the Yankees as a part-time player is probably the right way to go because of all the injuries he's had.
Well, he has had injuries to his back, cost him some problems. Chavez was one of the better players in the league at one time and dominating over at third base. Line drive hitter, hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, Joe Girardi has said that he'll use him at first to third as a DH. Rollins gets under one, hits it deep to left field. Gardner going back. The wind's got that one. A home run for Rollins, his 3rd hit of the day, and the Phillies are on the board.
Well, even got a rise from Johari, his wife here. She stands up and claps for her husband as he hits the ball out of the ballpark. His 3rd hit today, Jimmy Rollins. And you like to see that. No, we talked about him moving into that 3rd spot. Short and quick to the ball. That wind did catch it, Tom, as it keeps going. False hustle right there, climbing on the fence.
It seemed like Gardner thought he had a beat on it a couple of different times.
Oh, wow. Come on now.
So Rollins homers. It's 3-1 Yankees here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Ryan Howard, who's 0 for 2. And Ryan smokes it. Swisher trying to cut it off. And he kicked it into the alleyway. And Howard will be at second with a 2-out double.
Now here's a good example of a hitter going up and looking first pitch fastball and up to the task. He had gotten Ryan a couple of times before that and jamming him. But those balls are up in the zone. And he smokes this ball to right center. Fastball, first pitch fastball. That's making an adjustment. Talked about it earlier. You're going to have to do that from at bat to at bat. First pitch fastball, bam! So he hits that ball. And nice play, however, there by Swiss trying to get that ball. Automatic double, however.
So a runner in scoring position for Ben Francisco. Well, Francisco might face this kind of spot often during the regular season, batting behind Howard, where Howard can get an extra base hit, and the Phillies will need to get that runner home from second or third.
Well, he gives you good at bats. That's all you can really ask for. Good solid at bats, and if you do it enough, then good things are going to happen.
Fastball away, 2-0. Not a lot of opportunities for Francisco in 2010, but he did have 20 RBIs with runners in scoring position.
Good fastball, outside part of the plate.
Howard leads off second. Sabathia gives him a couple looks. Opposite way, base hit. Howard's being waved home by Samwell. Swisher's up with it. Here's the throw to the plate on one hop. That's a heck of a play by Russell Martin. He just scooped it up with one hand and applied the tag, and the side is retired. For the Phillies, a run on the home run by Jimmy Rollins. 3 hits, they leave 1. Jimmy puts the Phillies on the board with a home run into the Yankees' pen against CC Sabathia.
Chase Utley signing some autographs down there in the left field corner. And time now for our game summary. Some homers this afternoon. The Yankees had back-to-back from Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez. CC Sabathia, well, he didn't hit any barrels until that inning. It's the 6th inning. Boy, the Phillies really hardly hit a ball hard off him until the home run and then the double by Ryan Howard. Jimmy Rollins has had a good game. And Joe Blanton will work into the 7th inning.
Wheels Delwood Young comes on to play right field for John Mayberry. Mayberry moved over to first. Corey Sullivan's in center field for Shane Victorino. And a few other changes on the infield we'll get to in a moment as Nick Swisher leads it off here in the top of the 7th. Swisher had a sac fly back in the 2nd. It's a good sign for Blanton to be able to pitch into the 7th this afternoon. There's Pete Orr. He's at second base. John Mayberry moved over to first. Michael Martinez moved to short. One and two the count to Nick Swisher.
You know, we're getting to the point in the spring where, you know, the innings, you hope that pitch counts equate to more innings because pitch counts are still number 1 as opposed to innings. So like yesterday, Cole Hamels had no command of his fastball. We were talking about that during the game yesterday. And, you know, he couldn't pitch many innings because his pitch count got up so high. Joe Blanton throwing a lot of strikes and able to go into the 7th.
Hit hard toward first to the line as Mayberry will take it to the bag himself. And Blanton now has retired 8 straight hitters. 1 away here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, after A-Rod and Teixeira went back to back, then he had another hit in there, and then he's started to mow him down.
78 pitches so far for Blanton. Pretty good ratio, too. Here's Granderson. And he takes one high and away. That was a strike, even though Ruiz boxed it, as they say. I don't think he was fooled. I think he just dropped it.
He didn't catch it.
Mayberry again. Oh boy, nothing he can do about that one. That hits something and goes over his shoulder. Granderson heading to second, and he'll get there easily. He can run well.
Yeah, that was a bad hop.
So a double for Granderson. He's 2 for 3.
John Mayberry was headed towards the line to field that, and that thing kicked back the opposite direction. Joe Blanton was on his way over to help out. Now watch, see him go towards the line, and then whoa, it goes the other way. He didn't want to put that bare hand up there. Joe Blanton thought he had maybe a 3-1 hookup working there, and the next thing you know, it's in the corner for a double. And as he reaches pitch count,
I think he has. Rich Doobie's out to the mound. He's taking the ball. Joe Blanton's day is done. Not too bad for Joe. He scattered 8 hits over 7 innings. And he allowed 3 runs. The runner at second is his responsibility. We've got a pitching change here at Bright House Field. Antonio Bastardo will be the new pitcher when we return. Ryan Howard's afternoon is nearly complete, spending some time with the fans down the left field line. He said during spring training when they have their bags over their shoulders like that, it looks like they're going to school. And that's a normal look here in spring training. Joe Blanton has not put the bag over his shoulder just yet, but his afternoon is complete. Blanton is credited with 6 1/3, 8 hits, and he'll give way to Antonio Bastardo. Bastardo's pitching in just his 5th spring game. He's thrown 5 innings so far, 5 scoreless innings with 7 strikeouts. And he's had a good fastball when he's been out there, Wheels, and his slider has been pretty good too.
Well, you see, he has 7 strikeouts, Tom, in 5 innings, just the 1 hit. Control is always a thing for this guy because he has the potential to be a strikeout pitcher, especially against left-handed hitters, and that's what they want him to be, is a situation left-hander.
Well, Wheels, we have a double switch. Josh Barfield comes on to play left field for the Phillies. So that means Bastardo will bat in the 5 hole. And Barfield will bat in the number 9 spot in the Phillies order. Lefty against lefty with 1 out. Eric Chavez is the batter.
It's a good spot to bring Bastardo into the game, see if he can throw breaking balls and maybe get Chavez out. That was a slider right there that just missed.
Chavez is 0 for 2. He popped out to Ruiz in foul territory his first time up, grounded to third. He hit a bullet to third. And it's 2-0, a fastball a little low.
Granderson's thinking about running right now. And Bastardo, if somebody yelled at him or he did it on his own, he turned around and just held the ball and took the momentum away from Granderson. He's getting a pretty good walking lead.
I mentioned before, Chavez is over from the Oakland A's organization. It was the A's GM, Billy Beane, who told him during the offseason, don't hang up your spikes until you're absolutely sure that you want to. Chavez has battled so many injuries over the last couple of seasons that he thought it was time to retire, and it was Billy Beane who didn't offer him a contract but still offered him some pretty good advice.
Very good advice. And you see what a veteran hitter is and a good hitter. Those are pretty good sliders, and he's not even flinching, not even thinking about chasing them.
Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss at a fastball, and it's 3-2.
Well, you see him this afternoon. What a good defensive player he still is at third base, and if he can stay healthy and help them a little bit offensively, you know, give him a chance to rest some other guys, he'll be a good piece to the puzzle. 3-2 slider they'll probably throw here.
They go with a fastball, and he rips it to right. Young, no chance for this one. A one hop off the base of the wall. Granderson will score easily from second, and Chavez is at second with an RBI double.
Well, as Whitey used to say, well, why didn't they throw a 3-2 slider? And that was a middle-in fastball, and boom. You know, he's those kind of pitches to hitters, they just love it. Watch where it goes. Right in the middle, on the inside corner of the plate, and took a long ride, almost hit it out.
So now with one out, Brandon Laird will come on a pinch run for Chavez. Chavez's day is complete with an RBI double, 1 for 3. And Martin takes a slider inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
The Yankees have to be happy with that at bat he had. Not chasing sliders and then getting a 3-2 fastball and doubling to right center.
I know he said all the right things, that he's content with his role the way it is, but the way he's played this spring, it almost seems like he could be an everyday player. I mean, the Yankees have no room for him, but doesn't it seem like he could be an everyday player?
Well, they probably, you know, the way he's playing, but physically he's shown that he can't anymore.
That's true.
So if you were to overplay a guy like that, it'd probably get hurt again.
And he can't be an everyday player because you have Rodriguez at third, Teixeira at first, and Jorge Posada as the DH.
Well, right, you can't do that. But I mean, even if he were to go somewhere else and think he could be an maybe he could be. You know, maybe he won't get hurt again. But we've had back problems the way that he's had. That's really tough for some of that not to come back again if you play too much.
2-1 the count to Russell Martin.
That guy was a premier player in the American League for a lot of years with Oakland.
Oh, went off the end of the bat. And Martin's lucky he didn't hurt himself on that swing.
And some of their regulars are sitting over there too right now. Swisher just handed the ball to fan there. Derek Jeter. There's Jeter.
Robinson Cano with the towel over his head.
I think they wouldn't want those guys sitting out in the open like that.
Yeah, the big story here at spring training about that kind of an incident was Luis Salazar, one of the coaches for the Atlanta Braves up in Orlando. He wasn't even sitting outside the dugout. He was in the Braves dugout. And Brian McCann hit him in the face with a foul ball. And as spring training has moved on, Salazar has had a number of surgeries, including one to remove his eye.
Yeah, it's a tough story, but thankfully he's okay, because at one point they were really worried about his life.
Right.
Because he evidently did not regain consciousness for a while after that ball hit him in the face.
2-2 the count to Russell Martin, the runner in scoring position. One out here in the seventh, and it's 3-2. Well, the other part of the story for Luis Salazar was Brian McCann was very broken up about it, as you can imagine, and was for a couple weeks. And Salazar, after McCann visited him in the hospital, said, listen, it's just bad luck, but I'm fine, and you need to go on with your season.
Oh yeah, that has to be a difficult thing to have done for a guy like Brian McCann, who everybody likes. He's one of the good guys in the game. You don't hit a coach like that in the face. What are you going to do? I mean, he's just up there doing his job, and he pulls a ball foul.
3-2 the count to Martin. In the air to left field, Josh Barfield, the sunglasses on. And Laird will go back to second. We haven't seen much of Barfield in the outfield this spring, Wheels, but this is also part of the audition process for him. Can he play? We know he can play the infield. He's played that throughout his career, but can he play the outfield if they need him to?
And they've done that with several guys. Pete Orr's played out there. Michael Martinez has played. Valdez has played in the outfield. And this is the time to do it. I've always said if you can catch a ball in the sun and the wind down here, you can catch it anywhere.
Well, and Charlie Manuel has given all of these guys, these utility players who are battling for a spot on the roster, he's given every one of them plenty of opportunities, not only offensively but also defensively, to show their abilities. And that's all part of the competition that we talked about. We didn't think there were many spots available once spring training began, but as it evolved, guys like Wilson Valdez, who you figured was on the roster, could be playing for the opening day second base position. John Mayberry has kind of hit his way into consideration for a roster spot as probably a bench player. He's played well enough to even play a little right field. Slider over at the belt, 1-2. I'm surprised Jimmy took that picture with that youngster wearing a Victorino shirt without saying something.
Really? What's the matter with you?
You want a pen for your ball?
Passing the Sharpies, passing the pens around.
A lot of directions being given out there.
A liner towards center. Sullivan will play it on one hop. Laird's being sent home. Here's the throw to the plate. It hit the mounds, and it's not in time. Because it hit the mound, it slowed everything up, and Gardner kept on going to second.
Well, that's not a good appearance for Bastardo because he's gotten hit by two left-handed hitters now. And, you know, that's what they're trying to find out, if he can get left-handed hitters out. Sullivan doesn't get much on this throw. And as Tom said, then it hits the mound. And once it hits the mound, it's over.
So Laird scores. It's 5-1 Yankees. They now have 10 hits. And that'll bring Derek Jeter to the plate. Jeter's 1 for 3.
Getting 4 at bats here today is Derek Jeter. And, you know, it's a nice road trip for the Yankees, just training across the bay in Tampa. They spent a lot of years down in Fort Lauderdale and then eventually moved to Tampa. Reds used to be in Tampa at one time.
This is the last game between the Yankees and the Phillies this spring.
Yeah. And they do not play this season. They've had a lot of games together the last few years during interleague play, and of course the World Series, but this year they don't play each other in the regular season.
That's right. You got to preface that.
Never know. Both going to be contenders.
Phillies will play the Blue Jays, the A's, the Red Sox during interleague play. As Jeter takes a strike.
Going to head out to Seattle.
Be out in Seattle.
They will have the Cardinals twice this year on the road because they're going to be in the National League Series at one point during interleague play.
They'll play the Texas Rangers at home. Here's the 1-2. Opposite way. Ooh. It was a tougher hop than it looked for John Mayberry, but he retires Derek Jeter. So the Yankees score 2 runs here in the 7th. While they do that, Jimmy Rollins finishing up a few more autographs before he heads into the clubhouse and calls it a night. Save a life by donating blood at this year's annual Paint the Town Red Week blood drive in conjunction with American Red Cross at Citizens Bank Park Monday, March 28th from 10 a.m. until 5. All presenting donors will get a Cy Young experience. For full details and info and to register, go to Phillies.com/paintthetownred. We go to the bottom of the 7th. CC Sabathia is still out there, and he'll face John Mayberry. And he delivers a strike. Mayberry's 0 for 2.
All great pitchers keep the ball off the barrel of the bat, the fat part of the bat, and Sabathia's done a really good job with that this afternoon.
He allowed the home run to Rollins, who was 3 for 3 today, but that's it. And Mayberry hits it hard. Brandon Laird, who stayed in the game to play third, throws out Mayberry. So 1 out here in the 7th. And joining us down the left field line is today's starting pitcher, Joe Blanton, as the Phillies trail at 5-1. Joe, I thought that there were times today that the ball was down where you wanted it, and you had pretty good velocity on your fastball.
It felt decent. I think it's one of those things that slowly gets better every game in spring. You always feel a little bit slow coming out of the gate, and that's kind of the thing you want is the progression.
And today the progress was pitching into the 7th. I know you probably wanted to finish the 7th, but how important was that just to get into the 7th today?
I think that was really important. Going out at this time of year, it's not so much finish the inning. It's kind of that getting up and getting down that really gets you. Being able to do that 7 times was big to be able to build on what I've got so far.
Hey, Joe, when you think about right-handed pitchers, you always think about how do they get left-handed hitters out. Your changeup, is that important for you?
It is. I think pitching in and the changeup combination is really big, because if you just throw changeups, they're going to dive out and eventually start getting. But I think the combination back and forth of hard and soft, helps them keep it off of a little bit, and it is really big for me.
The other thing too, you gave it the back-to-back home runs today in the 4th, but then the next 2 hitters, Cano and Swisher, it seemed like you changed things a little bit, and you really kept them off balance, and it was a nice way to respond after those home runs.
No, I mean, Teixeira was just, I think, first pitch of the inning, changeup. It was changeup away. It's kind of in his swing path, really. They hit it off the end of the bat, and it barely goes out. Nothing you can do about that. And then just fall behind the next guy, and I just threw it down the middle, which I probably wouldn't do during the season, but I didn't really want to walk anybody. So I just kind of laid it in there, and got in and have 600 home runs for no reason.
Yeah. Well, CC Sabathia is heading off the field, so just like Joe, he pitches into the 7th inning. And David Robertson will be the new pitcher for the Yankees, and we'll spend Robertson's warm-up time talking to Joe Blanton. And Joe, everybody's talked about this rotation. How cool is it to be part of this rotation this year?
It is. It's a great. Honestly, it's just nice because it's such a good group of guys. We have a good time together. Other than the fact that those 4 guys are unbelievable pitchers. We really get along, and we have a good time together, and enjoy the time that we get to spend together here in spring training.
Yeah, folks have asked us about that. Are you guys together a lot? And I tell them that it does seem like that you are together often in the clubhouse and even outside of the games themselves.
That's the thing in spring training. We kind of have the same schedules. We stretch at the same time, throw at the same time. And so we're kind of always in the same places, especially right now when there's a few less guys at camp and there's not so many groups. We're basically just kind of, doing everything together, and our workout times, are somewhat together. So it just happens that way.
You guys sit around, I know it's exhibition season, but maybe during the season, will you sit around and watch how one guy happens to pitch a lineup, even though you may not be the same kind of pitcher? Do you do those kind of things?
I think more in the season. Right now, we're just, it's spring. We're just trying to get ready and having a good time out here. It's great weather this spring. But yeah, during the season, it's more. We'll probably go over more. This guy feels like he's more of trying to do this, not necessarily I threw this guy this pitch or he hit this pitch of mine. It's more I feel like this is what the guy's approach is, and that's kind of his swing path and things like that. And then you can take your stuff and then work from there with it.
Well, we have a couple more weeks left of spring training. What's it going to be like for the starters these final couple weeks of spring training?
I think it's just really fine-tuning at this point. Like I said earlier, getting up and down 7 times is a big thing toward the end of spring. Being able to get that many innings under your belt is a good feel. And just really whatever's, maybe not working the way it should be before the season. It's time to really maybe go out and grind on that pitch, throw that more times than you maybe would or that you want to, just to make sure that that's right.
All right, Joe, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
All right, thank you.
All right, Joe Blanton joining us here at Bright House Field as Joe finished up his outing today, worked into the 7th. CC Sabathia did the same, and now he gives way to David Robertson, who's pitching in his 8th game. And we've seen Robertson before against the Phillies this spring. And with 2 outs, he'll face Wilson Valdez with the Yankees up 5-1. Valdez is 1 for 2, and he takes a fastball upstairs. It's always nice to see some of the younger pitchers wheels during spring training, but it's also nice to see the starters go deep into a game in spring training.
Yeah, especially at this point, because that means their pitch count's manageable, or they haven't been, they didn't get lit up. So sometimes you can get games. We haven't had that kind of weather this spring, but you can get those windy days where a guy can go out there and give up 7 and 8 pretty easily, even though he probably didn't throw all that bad. You just look at the numbers afterwards and say, oh boy, that must have been a bad day.
You see the gentle breeze here at Bright House Field. Swing and a miss. Valdez was late, and it's 1-2. And Robertson comes on and picks up the strikeout, and the Phillies are retired in order. We've completed 7 here at Bright House Field. We go to the 8th with the Phillies down 5-1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. On a beautiful day here at Bright House Field, the Yankees lead the Phillies 5-1. It's been a little bit about the Yankees offense today, but Wheels, it's also been a lot about CC Sabathia.
Well, he's pitched 2 really good games over here in Clearwater. A couple weeks ago against Roy Halladay. Today, good backdoor breaking ball to Shane Victorino. Fastball there for a strikeout. Another breaking ball there, a slider. Breaking ball there to Carlos Ruiz. He did quite a few sliders. They used his changeup, spotted his fastball well. And, if you're the Yankees, you have to say, well, he's ready for opening day.
Absolutely. Here's Jose Contreras, who will pick up for Antonio Bastardo as we start the top of the 8th. It's a new battery for the Phils. Not only Contreras coming on to pitch, but Carlos Ruiz's afternoon is complete, and Dane Sardina takes over behind the plate. Mark Teixeira will lead it off for the Yankees. Teixeira today 1 for 3 with a home run.
See the regulars playing it as much as these guys are today for the Yankees. You always look to see who's next on the schedule, and they have to go to Port Charlotte tomorrow.
Well, there you go.
There's your answer. They may not be taking a lot of these guys.
Phillies go to Port Charlotte later on this week.
That's where the Rays train.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Teixeira.
About 3/4 of the way to Fort Myers.
I thought it was interesting the other day. that there was a quote from one of the pitchers on the Yankees staff, and they were talking about facing a team within their division, and this pitcher was scheduled to throw that day, and they decided not to throw him that day because he didn't want to show the team in the division any of his stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the Phillies don't face that much in spring training because so many American League teams are within the in their geography of the games that they play in spring training.
2-1 the count to Teixeira. Well, the guy who said that was Rafael Soriano, who is loosening up right now in the bullpen for the Yankees. So he's not afraid of showing the Phillies anything this afternoon. There's Soriano.
Yeah, there are some guys that are like that. They don't like to pitch against teams they're going to pitch against during the regular season if they can avoid it.
3-1 the count to Teixeira. Yeah, there's a strike. Teixeira thought it was ball 4. He's got his regular season body language on a disputed call down pat.
Yeah, well, he has a very good idea of the strike zone. Good on base percentage guy.
Swing and a miss. He got it.
Well, that was a good off-speed pitch.
Sure was.
Too. Teixeira was a day or two early. He throws him slider or split. That's a split, and it was a good one.
Yogi Berra is just soaking it all in from the Yankee dugout.
Talk about all the great Yankees that we showed some of those names earlier. Where there's another one. What a tremendous player.
He was unfortunately hurt the last time the Yankees were here at Bright House Field. He tripped and was taken to the hospital as precaution. And we didn't get a chance to see Yogi here in Clearwater the last time, but he has spent the entire spring with the Yankees.
Oh, old Yogi has got to be in his 80s.
He is in his 80s. Yep.
What a wonderful man. We've been lucky enough to sit and talk the game with him sometimes, and he is so entertaining.
0-1 the count to Austin Romine. Back toward the middle. Pete Orr will cut it off and throw him out. 2 outs. So 2 gone, and Ronnie Belliard, who came on to play second base in the bottom of the 7th. Belliard 1 for 13 in the spring. He was thought to be part of the race for a utility spot on the Yankees roster. I'm not sure if he's hit enough to win one of those spots. He's still in consideration.
He'll be on somebody's team. Ronnie Belliard's a very valuable utility infielder.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
This guy's thrown really well this spring. Did a good job for the Phillies last year to Contreras, and you know he's a 3-pitch pitcher: fastball, slider, split. Get left-handed hitters out with a split the way he did with Teixeira.
In the air to left field. Barfield going back. It's over his head, and Belliard will get 2 out of that one. Sullivan backs it up nicely. A 2-out double for Ronnie Belliard.
That was a fastball, just ran right back into that hot zone for Belliard. He's a pull-off hitter. Watch him pull off. See where the pitch is supposed to be is away. Watch it run right back in the middle of the plate, and he's pulling off. So that was right where he likes to hit it. And Barfield couldn't get back to the wall in time to do anything with that. But you never want to throw pull-off guys like Ronnie Belliard, fastballs that are tailing back towards him, because that's a happy zone for him.
Nick Swisher's 0 for 2, a sac fly his first time up. So Contreras will work with a runner in scoring position. Sounded like he broke his bat. A little flare to center field. That'll score another run. An RBI single for Swisher. It's 6-1 Yankees.
He broke his bat all right. That'll be it for Swisher. They'll probably run for him. Or maybe they won't.
He's been in the on-deck circle a couple different times, and he's in there swinging the bat, practicing, but he's talking to the fans the whole time.
Well, he is gregarious.
Well, he's aboard. He'll stay in the game, and Jorge Vasquez will pinch hit for the Yankees with 2 outs here at the top of the 8th. 6-1 New York. Vasquez has had himself a very good spring. He may have hit himself onto the Yankees roster. The issue with him is that he's probably a cornerman. He can play third, he can play first, he can DH, but they have that. But he certainly has had himself a good spring. He's not really built to play second base or shortstop.
No. No, that's some target. But you wonder about his range. But he looks like he likes to hit. Look at his stance. And he's right up on the plate, and he is loaded.
1-2 the count. Counting the split squad game the Phillies have scheduled on the 25th. They have 9 spring training games left after this. And a swing and a miss. And Contreras gets a strikeout. Second strikeout of the inning for Contreras. He allows a run on 2 hits. The Yankees leave 1. Middle of the 8th. The Yankees lead it by 5. Phillies, Braves, and Marlins 1, 2, and 3 of the National League East a year ago, and the Marlins will be in town for the first time beginning Friday, April 15th, as the Phillies celebrate Jackie Robinson Day at Citizens Bank Park. And don't forget, the 17th of April is the Fanatic's birthday, brought to you by Citizens Bank. A free Fanatic face T-shirt for fans 14 and under. A limited amount of tickets available for all 3 of those games, so go to Phillies.com and make your purchase today. And you see the new Marlins added for the upcoming season. John Buck, pretty good catcher. Omar Infante acquired in that Dan Uggla deal. And Javier Vasquez, that's a good pickup for the Marlins. Without the pressure of New York, you know, he'll probably do pretty well.
Yeah, he pitched well when he was with the Braves a few years ago.
The other guy that's not on that list that looks like he's going to make the team is former Phil Greg Dobbs. As we start the bottom of the 8th, Josh Barfield leads it off for the Phillies against Rafael Soriano.
Vasquez originally broke in with the Montreal Expos. Saw him a lot in the National League East at that time.
New left fielder is Kevin Russo for the Yankees. In fact, their whole outfield is different. Melky Mesa is in center field, and around and right is Justin Maxwell, the former National. And it's 0-2 to Barfield. Jesus Montero, the Yankees' top prospect, is behind the plate. And Rafael Soriano, who will set up this year for Mariano Rivera, is on the mound.
It's a guy who also pitched for the Braves for a number of years and had a good year with the Rays last year as their closer. But they have totally revamped their bullpen.
Swing and a miss, and Barfield, did he get a piece of it? I think he might have. So he's still alive. Barfield's numbers this spring. He had a couple of misadventures over at second base yesterday defensively. Rafael Soriano was signed very late by the Yankees this past offseason, and it was a big story, the fact that he was still available, because he was one of the best closers in baseball last year, but also that Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, was very candid during the press conference when asked if he was the one who spearheaded the signing of Soriano, and he said, no, I didn't think it was a good signing for us.
Too much money.
Too much money.
A little different mindset there now at the bosses. Well, George Steiner, of course, passed away, and sons are running the operation now.
1-2 the count to Barfield, and he stays alive. It was just interesting to hear somebody step away from the company line after the company spent a lot of money to bring this guy in.
Well, you knew George wasn't around anymore, because you stepped out of the company line when George was around. It was a new company for you.
45 saves a year ago for Soriano. I said he was one of the top closers in the league last year, as Mike Zagorski stretching and loosening up in the pen at 45 saves put him atop the leaderboard, but you have to still think that Mariano Rivera was the best closer in the American League last year.
Maybe of all time.
Yeah.
Mariano Rivera is just different. Does not have a road uniform in spring training.
Hit toward shortstop, and Bernier has it and throws out Barfield.
Pretty neat that you can dictate that, huh?
So, after all the years.
Right, I'm only going to pitch my innings at home. That's it.
And I won't start pitching my innings until past the midway point of spring training. That's what Mariano Rivera has done in recent years, and he continues to do it this year.
I remember him over here in Clearwater at Jack Russell Stadium as a young pitcher when he was a starter, or they thought he was a starter. So he had to make road trips at one point in his career, but it's probably been a long time.
One out for Corey Sullivan here at the bottom of the 8th. Phillies trail at 6-1, and Rafael Soriano's in the wind, and he delivers a strike.
And a lot of players would like to have been able to attain that status throughout their careers.
Anybody back in the 80s that were able to dictate that?
No. It was, you know,
it was different.
The 70s and 80s, they used to. Remember that era you went through when they all had those design vans, those custom-made vans?
Yep.
Well, they
You had one?
No. No, I couldn't afford that. They would drive those things. The starters, you know, the regulars would have one of those at a road trip, and then when they were out of the game, they'd all pile back into the van, come back.
Like the Bad News Bears in that movie where they went to Houston?
That's like that, right? You know, Tug had one, and they all decorated them different. You know, they all had their own personalities for those vans. That was a big kick for the 70s, 80s guys. Outside and high, 3-1 to Sullivan, with one out here in the bottom of the 8th. But they had to go on road trips, yeah. Now there's been some broadcasters throughout the year that have been accused of not going on road trips that often. It's a tough town to leave. It is a tough town to leave. It's nice here. Phillies will hit the road this week. They've got a game on Tuesday in Dunedin, and then in Port Charlotte on Wednesday against the Rays. So they'll take on the Blue Jays on Tuesday, the Rays on Wednesday. Jays don't count as a road trip.
Yeah, Dunedin's not too far from here. Neighboring town. Off the hands down the right field line. That'll hook foul. And Sullivan's taking a look at the bat to see if he may have broken it or not.
I can't believe he didn't.
I thought he did the way it sounded. That's some good wood right there. A roller towards second. Belliard backs up on it as far as he could, throws low, and there was no chance for Vasquez. Well, I guess he had a chance. He just couldn't come up with it. That didn't look good from the get-go for Belliard.
No, he never had control of that. Then he threw a changeup over to first. Look, he had 3 fingers on it when he threw it. See right here, he doesn't ever really control it. It's bobble, bobble, bobble. Now he reaches in, never can get the seams, and then threw low, and then the first baseman. Vasquez, yeah, he couldn't handle it. Yeah,
like he should have caught that ball.
He almost could put an E3 down on that when you watch the replay. I don't know what they did.
Well, they went with an error on the board, and we'll find out if it's an E4 or E3. Michael Martinez 0 for 3 today. Switch hitter batting left-handed, and he takes one on the outside corner.
Infielders never like to make a throw like that where they can't find the seams first. But in that case, he didn't have any choice.
Back toward the middle. He might be able to make up for it. He does. And 4-6-3 potential double play. 40 with the throw from Bernier. And Martinez put a little pressure on Bernier because he was flying up the first base line.
Yeah, he really hustles, Michael Martinez. And, you know, you would think he would. Trying to make the ball club, trying to stay here. But that's a dead double play ball. Good flip. And the shortstop, you see, he had a little trouble with the exchange there from glove to the hand. And then as a result, he throws it high.
Sullivan went after him, too, on that slide. He was away from the bag.
That may have been one of the reasons why he had trouble with the exchange.
2 outs for Pete Orr here at the bottom of the 8th. Orr hitting for the first time. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Off the end of the bat, a flare to right. Maxwell coming on, makes the grab, and the side is retired. For the Phillies, they leave 1 here in the 8th. We've completed 8 at Bright House Field. Phillies are down 6-1 to the Yankees. Clubhouse store now featuring the new batting practice jersey and other authentic collection apparel. The Majestic Clubhouse store at Citizens Bank Park, open 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Phillies are wearing those new batting practice jerseys during spring training as we go to the top of the ninth here at Bright House Field. And Mike Zagorski, who's had a good spring. Zagorski's allowed just 1 earned run in 6 games this year.
See the walk strikeout. That's very good for him. And you know, he's trying to come back off of. He's had a lot of injuries too. Elbow, hamstrings. Zagorski has some ability, and you know, he's still a guy you never know. Left-handers so important for bullpens, and you know, he's one of those guys trying to impress everybody this spring.
Pitched on a couple different occasions with the big club last year.
Mike has a good fastball, and you know, his slider, he just has to have that breaking ball to be a situation left-hander. He has a pretty good one.
Here's Brandon Laird, who's 2 for 20 in the spring. And he fouls the first fastball over toward the Yankee on deck circle, and Jesus Montero just put a hand up and knocked that ball down as it was coming toward him. Phillies are still undecided as to whether they will keep 11 or 12 pitchers this season to start. Talking to Rich Doobie yesterday, he said they haven't made a decision, and I think a lot of it depends on how well guys like Zagorski, Bastardo, Matheson, Herndon pitch in the final couple weeks of spring training.
Yeah, there's jobs to be won here.
0-2 the count to Laird. Hit toward third, and Valdez stays down on it. And 1 gone here in the ninth. Sunday nights are getting offensive on Comcast Sportsnet. Tonight at 6:30, Rhea Hughes dukes it out with John Gonzalez on the hottest sports topics. You, the fans, decide who wins by voting on csnphilly.com. Don't miss Full Contact live tonight at 6:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Listen to Rhea every morning on WIP. Read John Gonzalez in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Here's Montero.
Yeah, there are 2 media people that do a great job. Day in and day out.
Montero, boy, he crushed one. There's a lot of room out there, though, for Sullivan. He's on the run, and no chance. Off the top of the fence, and Montero will have a stand-up double. Boy, that ball just jumped off his bat.
Yeah, it looked like a high fastball.
A 1-out double.
That thing had some hang time. Good swing. Real good balanced stroke. It looked like it was going to be a home run, and then right there as it hit on the padding and disappointing those fans in the berm. they thought they had themselves a souvenir.
So Montero's at second for Kevin Russo. Russo batting for the first time today. And Zagorski trying to work out a little bit of a jam here in the ninth. Joe Blanton started the game. He went 6 1/3. He allowed 4 runs on 8 hits. Bastardo allowed a run in 2/3 in relief. Contreras allowed a run in an inning. And now it's Zagorski here in the top of the ninth with 1 out. Look out. Josh Barfield, well, he thought he was making it a little easy for the ball girl because he went after it. It was a little soft touch.
Part of the atmosphere here, very festive. Oh,
the glove's just not broken in enough, Wheels.
Is that what it was? Oh, yeah. Got handcuffed.
0-2 the count. Slider inside, 1-2. Josh Barfield is known to soft toss a knuckleball over to folks when he's in the outfield.
You know, a certain way to catch the ball above the waist, and you know, just a little bit of a misplay there. Unfortunately, it's in front of a lot of people. But as I said, it just adds to the festive atmosphere here. It is fun.
Valdez getting another chance. And he's not going to have a play on that one. It spun right out of his glove.
Should have backhanded that ball. You know, he is really a good, solid infielder. He doesn't make a lot of fundamental mistakes, but that's a ball that's much easier to play by backhanding it. And you see right here, see, just threw a look, the way he throws a backhand for him. This guy, most guys are going to go to their backhand immediately because they're so deep and it's such a long throw. His case, he thinks he can catch everything flat-footed and fire. And that, as I said, would probably be a lot better if he had backhand. It'd been easier for him.
Well, they charge an error to Valdez, and rightfully so. Now 2 aboard with 1 out here in the 9th. Doug Bernier had a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. You looked at that replay. As you see the base runners leading off first and second, his footwork was off.
Yeah. Well, it's just a much easier play, as we say, to backhand the ball on a ball that's hit that way.
1 ball, 1 strike to count.
I've seen very few guys, though, that can throw a ball flat-footed like Wilson Valdez. It's almost a curse because you think he can do it all the time.
And we've seen him make some long throws today.
Oh, and he does. It's effortless. You know, he doesn't use his legs on his throws a lot of time. How he does it.
Valdez playing third today for Placido Polanco. Polanco said today that he felt pretty good. He ran today on the backfield, that he's got a chance to play at some point early on this week, maybe Tuesday. That's good news after hyperextending his elbow last Tuesday.
He's got a left-hander here tomorrow, right, Lester?
And a changeup and a called strike 3. And Bernier still hitless this spring.
Mike Zagorski gets himself a strikeout here.
I said changeup.
Yeah,
That's
breaking
ball. Yeah.
Pretty good breaking ball, frozen. Probably up a little more than Mike would like it, but still got the out.
So 2 on. Here's Justin Maxwell. That is a changeup. And it's 0-1. Maxwell, they waited a few years for him down in Washington. They thought he was going to be their everyday center fielder, or at least left fielder. And it just never came to fruition. I mean, if ever there was a franchise where he could have latched onto and run with the starting job, that was it.
Yeah, he looked like a guy that could develop into a pretty good player at one time. Really athletic.
Takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. The Nationals signed Jason Worth, of course, and they have Roger Bernardina, who's turned into a good player. Niger Morgan in center, so they didn't really have a spot for him here in 2011. And he hits one to left field, and he hit it deep. Barfield on the run. That's going to stay in the yard. It's off the base of the wall. The Yankees will get a couple on this one. It'll be a 2-run double. And it's now 8-1 New York.
Yeah, those runs will be unearned against Mike Zagorski, but you know, he made a bad pitch there with 2 strikes. Here's a look at it. That was a changeup. Well, you know, you look at it, it's not in a horrible spot, but you know, Maxwell did a good job of handling it down and away from him.
So still 2 outs, a runner in scoring position. And Austin Romine will bat for the second time. He grounded to second base in the 8th. Yankees don't have anybody loosening up in the pen. Nope, now they do. They have a lefty that's up in the pen. Didn't look like they had anybody warming a few minutes ago.
Yeah, remember they're going to pitch Boone Logan in an inning.
Yep.
That could be he.
1-1 the count. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And a strikeout for Zagorski, so he's through the ninth. The Yankees scored 2 unearned runs. They leave 1. We go to the bottom of the ninth. The Phils down 8-1. Schedule on television. Next Saturday against the Jays. Next Sunday up in Orlando against the Atlanta Braves. Then Monday back here at Bright House Field against the Houston Astros. Then the Phillies will have one of the 2 on-deck series games against the Pirates on the Comcast Network. And then the opener on Friday, April 1st on PHL 17, 1 o'clock. And it'll be Roy Halladay against Brett Myers. Well, folks are leaving the berm on a record day here at Bright House Field. Nearly 11,000 on hand for today's game.
Got up to 10-9, huh?
Yeah, 10-9-09.
Every game, a new record.
Well, and tomorrow the Red Sox are here, and it may be a new record again.
Get out the can openers.
Yep.
Get to 11.
They just announced that there were limited standing room only tickets available for tomorrow, so folks are probably heading to the windows to cash in. But it was a gorgeous day, still is gorgeous late afternoon here in Clearwater.
Pretty good starting pitching matchup tomorrow with John Lester and Roy Halladay. Is Lester their opening day guy?
Lester is their opping day starter.
So they have 2 opening day starters working tomorrow, right on schedule.
Here's Boone Logan in his 5th game. It's not been a good spring for Logan. 8 hits in 3 2/3. And he will face Delwyn Young, Eric Kratz, and John Mayberry here at the bottom of the ninth. Phillies down 8-1. Logan, the Yankees got from the Braves last year. I think a lot of folks were surprised that the Braves traded him to the Yankees. But as we saw last season, they had a lot more coming from the farm system to kind of take over from left side.
Well, Venters is the guy that came up last year for them that has such a great arm and is a big part of the Braves bullpen, Johnny Venters.
Logan now 26 years old. Last year in 51 games, he had a 2.93 ERA for the Yankees.
And they have Sherrill now, too, do the Braves for another left-hander for them. And, of course, Craig Kimbrell, a good-looking young right-hander, throws hard. Is there going to be their closer? Billy Wagner did, in fact, stay retired.
And a changeup and a call. Strike 3. Young goes down looking, 1 away here in the ninth.
What's Billy raise? He's running with his alpacas?
Alpacas. Yeah, he doesn't have as many anymore.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Boone Logan with a little breaking ball here. Gets it over. No, it's a changeup. Excuse me. Changeup on the outside corner.
Well, with 1 out, Eric Kratz will bat for the Phillies. Kratz has 2 home runs this spring, and the one he hit yesterday was a bomb.
This guy likes to hit a fastball.
Read a story about Eric Kratz in preparation for last year's AAA All-Star game at Lehigh Valley. He was playing for the Pirates AAA affiliate Indianapolis and was excited about playing at Lehigh Valley at Coca-Cola Park because it was only 45 minutes from where he grew up. But he talked about as he gained more experience in the minor leagues, he became a better hitter. You know, he was more of a defense first guy, But over the last couple of years, he started to pick up the offense, and the power has started to come for him. You know, not in droves, but still, he's hit more home runs these last couple of years.
Big, strong guy.
Down to the count 0-2. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Here's that home run he hit yesterday. Was this longer than John Mayberry's? Well, we still don't know, but it went a long way. Watch
sure
it
did.
Bounce, boink, heading for the parking lot.
Swing and a miss, and another changeup, and 2 outs here in the 9th. And that'll leave things for John Mayberry. Not often that Mayberry this spring has gone hitless in a game, but he's 0 for 3. He's grounded into a double play.
Yankees really pitched well here this afternoon.
They
The
have,
guys have done a tremendous job. Sabathia is very, very good. Guys that another guy they're counting on. Soriano came in, did a good job. Robertson came in, got a strikeout. That's another guy they're counting on in their bullpen. So they have to be happy with the way their staff's performed here today.
Yeah, Sabathia struck out 5 over 6 2/3. He allowed just the home run to Jimmy Rollins. That's the only run today for the Phillies. And Boone starts Mayberry off with an inside fastball on the corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Low and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Mayberry, one of 37 players still in camp for the Phillies. And it's 2-2. Phillies made some cuts just the other day to narrow it down to 37.
12 more to go.
12 more to go.
Get into that 25-man opening day roster.
At the beginning of spring training, the clubhouse, beautiful clubhouse here at Bright House Field, is packed with folks. And now that number is kind of dwindling. The chairs are leaving. And a call, strike 3. Boone Logan's come in and he struck out the side here in the bottom of the 9th inning and closed the door on the Phillies. And the Yankees pick up a 8-1 victory this afternoon. So the Yankees win it here at Bright House Field. 8-1 the final score. We'll be back to chat about it right after this.